Hola, this is Kai Pacha with the Weekly Pele Report. I'm back home, and what do I find but a doggone brand new banana. A bunch of bananas growing. I was thinking I could even change this report from the Pele Report to the Banana Report, because I started it. Pele is the, the goddess of the volcano out in Hawaii. And I was living in Hawaii for years and started the Pele Report. Now, I don't know, I'm just in my backyard and I want to sit underneath the banana tree. So maybe it's the Banana Report. One way or the other, it's an astrological, observational picture of what's going on outside of us in the realm of astrology, which will reflect what is going on inside. As above, so below, as without, so within. So let's get going. Get down to business here. Yes, because why? Well, the moon is in Pisces, and Pisces is not so much about business. And she stays in Pisces until tomorrow, Thursday. She goes into Aries. And finally we have a first quarter moon at 26 degrees Aries. Sun still in late Capricorn. Moon in Aries, squaring the sun in Capricorn. And that sun is conjunct Mercury like all week. Mercury's retrograde going right back over on Friday. Mercury joins together with that sun. Second time around. Yeah, you'll remember if you've been listening to this report for a little bit what that is about. Mercury goes up, hits the sun, goes retrograde, goes back around the sun, and then is going to come back to the sun again later on. So Sun-Mercury conjunction, which has been going on for a while. Now Mercury is still retrograde, back into Capricorn, squares the moon. What else is going on? Well, we've got this big thing going on that I want to talk about. There's a lot of astrology to talk about. I know some of you like it, some of you don't, but we are in the midst of what I want to talk about. Three things today, because they are, big on the horizon, have been going on for this whole month of January, okay? And that is that on the 9th we had the new moon, Sun, Moon, Pluto conjunction, okay, in Capricorn, and that was square. That was part of a T-square with our good friend Black Moon Lilith over there in Libra, opposite Uranus. And that Black Moon, in opposition to Uranus, is getting stronger and stronger and stronger and going on and on and on. Yeah, it was exact on the 10th. Here's my other favorite tree. It's a nice palm tree. Love this yard with this palm tree right next to the banana tree. Anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked here. So I want to talk about that T-square. I also want to talk about, we had that Venus conjunct Saturn on the 8th. Okay? And that only happens like once a year. The last time it happened was in November of 2014. Venus goes all the way around, and now it hits Saturn again. And these conjunctions are like births. So Venus conjunct Saturn is like a new birth, and the Sun conjunct the Moon is a new birth, and the Sun Pluto, is a new birth. And, birth is always in astrology, followed by a death, a letting go. And this brings me to this Mars in Scorpio. From January 3rd until March 5th, we've got 2 months of Mars in Scorpio. And I want to be talking about that quite a bit in this report. Yeah? On Monday, it trines Neptune. So that's really, really beautiful. And, yeah. So let me find a place. I'll just sit down in front of the tree here. Talk at you. All right. Still got a little jet lag going. I just got home last night. So if I can't think straight or remember the mantra, I just want you to know that ahead of time. Oh, but before I start, yeah, speaking of remembering, hello. I don't know if you're new to the Pele Report or if you get my newsletter. I put it out in my newsletter, but I have more subscribers on YouTube than I have subscribers to my newsletter. You know, you can get the Pele report in your inbox, you know, along with a little blurb of, you know, like what's going on with New Paradigm Astrology if you go to my website and sign up for the, you know, subscription there. Anyway, I'm having a store-wide sale. I do Kundalini Yoga videos. I've got 2 Kundalini Yoga videos. I've got a couple of webinars for learning more astrology for beginners. It's really, you know, beginner stuff to just like get you familiar more with the planets and the signs and the houses. I've got individual classes of like if you're like really interested in Mars or Chiron or something like that. You just want to, you know, put it on your phone and, you know, listen to it while you drive to work or something, you know. So stuff that you can download is, I think I'm having a half price. Yeah, I'm having a half price sale because this whole thing is about helping everybody learn more astrology, because astrology is like so awesome. And you are your own best astrologer, and then when you learn this stuff enough, you don't have to listen to the Pele report anymore. That's the idea. So check that out. That is, you just go to newparadigmastrology.com and hit the store. I think it says store, or go shopping or something, and yeah, learn more about what I'm talking about, so that when you see that chart at the beginning of the Pele report, pause, hit your pause button and look at that chart and see what's going on and see what I'm talking about. And after some time, I know there's some of you out there, you've been listening for 3, 4, 5 years, you know, and you're starting to learn astrology, you know. So, you know, this is astrology. It's just not me, you know, preaching all the time. Yeah, it actually, you know, is tied in. So, if you look at this chart, you know, from here, you'll see, you know, you'll see the T-square I'm talking about. Black Moon Lilith, opposite Uranus, squaring Pluto. Mars going into Scorpio. So what am I going to talk about? What did I talk about last week? Shadow. Black Moon Lilith has to do with shadow. Scorpio, Mars going into Scorpio has to do with shadow. The new moon conjunct Pluto has to do with shadow. So we look, you know, this is a real time of looking at shadow. And what is shadow? I talked about it last week. You know, it's beliefs about ourselves that we hide from ourselves, that we're unconscious. It's our subconscious world where we stuff all the stuff that we don't really like about ourselves. And so it's our dark side. It's the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Or, you know, Dr. Jekyll, Mrs. Hyde, in the case of the female. But we all have a Mr. or Mrs. Hyde that we try to hide from other people, yeah? And what brings the shadow to light, you know? And it's like, well, you know, what we hide or deny or suppress about ourselves, we lose touch with it, and it sabotages our relationships and our jobs and our lives and our families, and it is the saboteur. It's our unconscious, you know, wildness that's unconscious. And the first thing that brings that into consciousness, and this is why relationships are both so important and so difficult, is that the closer somebody gets to us, the more they see our shadow working. And so relationships that start out as projections, you know, the closer you get and the more intimate you get, the more you see their shadow, they see your shadow, and relationship just helps us become more conscious of our unconscious. Particularly when Mars is moving through Scorpio, like it is for the next 2 months. Because Mars is desire and will, and Scorpio is other person's values. It's the other person's field. Taurus and Scorpio are opposite each other. Taurus is my values, my sense of self-worth. It's my field. It's my capacities, my talents, what I've got. And it's opposite Scorpio. That's the other person's values, the other person's money, the other person's beliefs and needs and sexual needs and desires and emotional nature. So Mars going through Scorpio says, desire, want, I want to penetrate. The masculine force is the force of penetration. So Mars wants to penetrate the other person's field, and be that mind, body, soul, spirit, mental, emotional, pocketbook, bank account. You know, it's like I want to, there's something that this other person or people have that is going to help me grow, evolve, know myself more fully, more completely. So these next couple of months is about intimacy. It's about penetrating into other people's field. Hopefully with agreements. The best way to enter another person's field and to have them enter your field, and so that the two circles make infinity, is through both people agreeing and inviting and doing it with loving compassion rather than force. So there's also armies and fighting, and this can also be a time over these next 2 months, okay, where there are disagreements and there are arguments and there are attempts at invading other people's field, invading other countries' field, invading other banks, like bank takeovers, this kind of thing where, we did not invite you, you're invading us. This can also be a time of economic stress, because Scorpio and Taurus, also has to do with my money and my possessions. Taurus is my possessions. Scorpio is our shared possessions. And we share this planet. And we share this water. And we share the money around, right? For better or for worse. Some people don't share their money. And Mars will come in at like the burglar. And, it's like, I am going to take your money. Whatever, Because your shadow is that, you feel selfish about yourself and you want to give it away, so you create Robin Hood. Poof. Robin Hood takes your money and gives it to... Anyway. This is also having to do then with Scorpio, and Pluto and Mars. Before they discovered Pluto, Mars was the ruler of Scorpio. And it's that sword quality that cuts and kills. Scorpio in the 8th house have to do with death. Pluto is the god of the underworld. It has to do with death and dying and letting go. And this new moon, Sun, Moon, Pluto conjunction, is seriously about letting go. Yeah? And Venus also has to do with money and our feminine ability to attract. Yes? And to receive. And it's been conjunct Saturn, starting a new yearly cycle. And so these new cycles, these new moons, these new changes are always followed by the endings and finishings and completings and releasing, okay, of the old. Because this is the big thing. We weren't born yesterday. And even if we were born yesterday, many of you, I am sure, like myself, believe in reincarnation, and this is not our first life. We are not blank slates. We've made choices, we've made decisions, whether you call it karma, whether you call it dharma, whether you call it the law of, Newtonian physics, that every action, creates an equal and opposite reaction. However you want to look at it, we all have a past, a childhood, an upbringing, parents, religion, first grade teachers or whatever, brothers and sisters, that have impacted how we look at ourselves, how we look at the world, what we believe, what we are attracted to, what we hate, what we love, what we desire, what we are repulsed by. There's stuff going on, is what I'm saying. And whenever there's... So these planets go around, and it's the balsamic conjunction, okay? And Pisces is really the 12th sign of the zodiac. Right now, I'm talking... the moon is in Pisces. South node of the moon, Chiron, Neptune. We got a big chunk, of energy happening here in Pisces, which is the last finish, close, complete, surrender. When I got my name, Kaipacha, from the shaman, yeah, she said, surrender to life. This is a time You know, if you want to begin anew, every new beginning has to do, okay, with letting go of the past. So we had this new moon, and when this new moon comes around to where it is now, there's doubt. Doubt. The demons from the past come up, you know, and go, are you sure you made the right choice? Are you sure you made the right decision? Are you sure you made the right commitment? Are you sure you wanted to break up? Are you sure you wanted to stay together? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? It's like, ah! It's the 45-degree aspect in astrology. It has to do with doubt. Yeah? 15 degrees of Taurus if you're starting at the beginning. But anyway, you know, this moon is, you know, moving around to the 45-degree aspect. Now it's called the semi-square, yeah? And this is where it's like at the new moon or the Venus conjunct Saturn, yes, I make a commitment or I make a decision or I make a choice or I take an action. And then just, you know, not long after, it's like, whoa, no. What did I do that for? Ah! Why did I say that? Why did I, you know, lock into that? Why did I take that job or leave that job or whatever? And this doubt is reflection. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a real positive quality, you know, and it can bring a lot of, you know, understanding. Okay, but it can also drag us down. And be a downward spiral where we begin to question and doubt ourselves and our intention and our connection to the divine. Do not doubt your connection to the divine, because then you're going to go, then that's the way to get lost. Yeah? So it's just like, so it's a time of letting go, okay? And this can be letting go of doubt and holding to, you know, that, you know, that new intention, that new desire, that new beginning in your life. So Scorpio is about mastery. This next couple of months, and then, you know, Mars is going to come back into Scorpio later on too. You know, this is about actively mastering our emotional, Scorpio is a water sign, our sexual, our relationship, you know, dynamic. And this brings us, you know, really into power and powerlessness. Like Jeffrey, my teacher, says, yeah, evolutionary astrology. There's power in what I know and can control, and there's a sense of powerlessness in what I don't know and I can't control. And Scorpio is this battleground of control, of what I can control. It's a battleground of power, you know? And it's like I want to invite more power into my life. I'm going to grow from this relationship, you know, by sharing and by trusting, and two can do more than one. It's like I want this power. I want to learn. I want to master myself through. It also can have to do with conquering, you know, and it can also have to do, okay, with surrendering and submitting and releasing that power, releasing that control, and acknowledging that someone or something is more powerful than I am. And I need to listen to them rather than try to control them. I need to submit to them rather than try to, you know, force them or manipulate them into being what I want or who I want or whatever. This is how we evolve through partnership and relationship. Yeah. So, this mastery, and this is where we come back to the shadow. It's like as someone comes closer to us and closer to us, they show us our demons. They show us our shadows. They show us the rotty, stinky stuff that we suppress and hold in like Pandora's box and go, no, 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 you know. I am not going to say dirty words, or I'm not going to fart in public, or I'm not going to do these because, you know, I've gotten, you know, a bad press from that in the past, even though I like really want to, you know, say that or swear, or, you know, I mean, we all have the wild side of ourselves, and Mars is the wild side of ourselves that just wants to go in. And it's like, I want you sexually or emotionally or financially. I want what you've got. Give it to me. And there's this wild, instinctive animal side of us, you know, that can get really out of control. And then we come in with, and that's why we have police officers. That's why there are militaries. That's why there are prisons and governments and things like that to like, okay, whoa, 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 yeah. You can't just invade and take everything you want. You need to negotiate. You need to make agreements. You need to evolve your consciousness, and communicate. Yeah, and become more conscious of your unconscious instinctive self. So, during this time, I want to encourage you to have the deep conversations, have the deep talks, have the deep sharing, have the, communicate, what you're afraid to communicate. Share your secrets. Scorpio is the sign of secrets, because and it has to do with shame. I'm ashamed of my shadow. I'm ashamed of some of my animal instinctive desires that don't give a shit about, anything but what I want. Mars rules Aries. It's this impulsive, instinctive initiation, initiating, taking what I want. It's that masculine force that needs to be balanced with the feminine. I mean, this is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful exercise time these next couple of months here, with Mars and Scorpio, to balance the masculine and the feminine. Yeah, to understand our sexual nature, our sexual relationships, our partnerships, our intimate partnerships, because our physical body, and our sexuality is where the rubber hits the road. All of our beliefs and fears and shadow and unconscious comes out in the bedroom. I had an astrologer friend say, you're in Scorpio when you hear animal sounds. When you're grunting and groaning and growling and shouting, you're in Scorpio. You're in the 8th house, yeah? And this is where Mars in self-discovery is right now. So I encourage you, to unleash your passions. Let that bull out in the china shop and see what happens. But do it in a safe way with agreements from the other. It's like, hey, I want to let my bull out in your china shop and see what happens. And are you okay with that? Because I want to see my bull. I want to see my bull in action. I want to understand my bull. I want to master my bull. But I can't master my bull if I don't let the bull out. Life is a rodeo. We're all rodeos, yeah, and we've all got these bulls. This is great, man. Thanks. We're all bull riders, man. What's going on in Taurus anyway? Yeah. And Venus is in Sag, which is also freedom, truth, and wildness and freedom. But it's like, yeah, for a rodeo to happen, right, you have to let that horse out of the box, or let that bull out of the box. And then you see it. And with understanding compassion, you can tame it, integrate it, and master it. Whereas in the box, it grows angry and upset. And it's shut down and locked out, and all of its power is contained and going nowhere and doing nothing. So it's like, it's also getting in touch with your power. Mastery is also about power and becoming powerful and knowing how to direct your force and direct your power. If you're afraid of your own force, if you're afraid of your own power, you're going to suppress it and keep it locked up. And you're also going to be ineffective. You may be broke. You may be lonely. You may be shut off. You may be alienated. It may be all kinds of things, because what? You got your power locked up because you're afraid of your own power. You're afraid of destroying things or hurting people or whatever. It's just like, try to find like-minded souls who are on the same path of you, of wanting to become conscious of their unconscious, and they say, okay, I understand. You've got to go over the line before you know where the line is. Maybe you have to break through a fence before you know that that's the edge of your field. Or it's just like, This is an opportunity, these couple of months coming, for compassionate understanding. And when you have that, you can't have compassionate understanding for somebody else until you have it for yourself. So that was last week's mantra, I think. It's like, I got to do it. I have to understand and have compassion for myself. Then I can go into relationship and go, oh yeah, I saw my demon. You've got to see your demon. I'm going to create a safe space where you can let your demon out, and I'm not, I'm going to be there for you. That's what love is. We are here for each other, to support each other in dealing with our demons. Anyway, man. By now you either get it or you don't, and you either think I'm onto something or I'm crazy, so I can close with the mantra. The mantra for this week is, my inner world is crowded with demons from the past. But once I know and can control, I master myself at last. My inner world is full. My inner world is crowded with demons from the past. But once I know and can control, I master myself at last. And of course, as we master ourselves, we help and heal ourselves, we help and heal our partners, we help and heal the world, and then we master the world, and we become the highest expression of human potential possible. Yeah. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.